is our final recap video for Jade Universe or after decision 4. Greetings and salutations. Hello, Jade Universe did fantastic results. Here we are with our second to last decision. Next is coming week. Probably watching this on Sunday. Tomorrow, Monday, you will be seeing our final wrap up of the sim. There's one more unit topic week after that, which is 8, but 7 is our final decision, decision 5. Decision 5 is very different, and so will this recap video be, because in decision 5, there's a special thing that happens with inventory. There's on Model Sim Professor on the YouTube channel. You can go and find a video called Before Decision 5. I'll link it in Halo. That also covers the unique, towards the end of it, I'll try to timestamp it for you so you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to. That shows there's a very unique thing happens in decision 5, the final decision with inventory. And that is that because there's past inventory, we're not going to take the time in the sim to completely update any changes you make with engineering. So anything you do with inventory for this final period in terms of changing the engineering on the current models takes effect on all your old inventory also. So you can feature, defeature, save money, be careful not to overspend on CapEx, because why invest in production for us decision 6, next decision, when you won't be producing anything? It's the last thing. So you can broom your inventory. Don't lower your price where you destroy the industry, but there's a lot you can do to save your inventory and to change it, make it very saleable with whatever you do. You could just pick 2 units of the new one, change that, and all the past inventory changes. So I'm not going to give the whole thing away. Watch the video and you'll see what you can do. So I'm going to disappear here now and share screen. This is going to be an unusually quick one because I'm just giving you screenshots for your final paper. You won't need all this for decision 5 because it's so different, but it will give you a good recap of what happened. By summary, it's already been in Halo. All the teams did fantastic compared to where we started at. We've stopped a loss. Red is above the line in all of them, not gigantically, but no loss anymore. So they're the clear winner. Blue did fantastic in ARE, which is very unusual, although they tanked in cash flow because of having an even bigger problem in image, even though they, did well in family, which is our other leader. So as you see these results, I'm not going to do a lot of commentary because they're just for screenshots for your final paper and final presentations that you'll do as teams. But so you can use anything you want here. It's all for you. Just put these together so you can use them to tell your story. What happened, what you would have done different, course corrections you made and would have made, and what your takeaway from the courses. That's the final presentation. Not to say there isn't a final fifth decision where it could all change. It can, because the fifth is loaded with that inventory thing. And if you look at LOI carefully in these, you'll see what happened with LOI. Blue, you just got a cash problem. You got 2 or 3 government loans. Your leverage is at 96%, which is unheard of. It's really high, but you still did great in ARE. So you did great investments and you turned it around. If you look at the depth of problems we had in the beginning, you turned it around. Blue is very close to the line with everything else. Everybody, all 3 teams did fantastic, did great work. So let's jump into quick visuals as we do every time. Try to make them much faster this time, and I will share my screen. Okay, here we have decision 4 results. You can take a shot of the financials and see what happened, especially in terms of this very unusual line with almost 100% leverage that rarely happens, usually around 40%, 30 to 40%. So Blue had some real problems in terms of cash flows. Although if you look at ARE, which is, which is amazing in terms of all of our attempts to get above the line, they actually beat by a little bit yellow team. So with that much leverage, which is just amazing, you can see why there's 3 ratios that work together to see that. I won't get into it because it's not that important, but managing your cash flow is. You almost didn't validate because you were negative cash, and then validator jumped in, Blue T did a great job and got it to validate. But if you run out of cash and you're at 0, you're going to have to defeature some things to get back down to 0 so you can at least validate it for this last decision. Now you'll see again, I can do some overlays, but you have all these from the past, so it's not important. But there's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there'll be a 5, because 0 was what you inherited. what you inherited. I don't know if you remember. I don't want to do a bunch of overlay videos here, but basically, these were all underwater to a great extent, and of course, an even extent. We were all the same in decision zero. This is what you inherited. Yellow made it better. This is about half again as good, and the other two teams bettered it into the positive. So you turn the very difficult low cost car line around. You look at family. Family is our huge winner all the time, as well as image is. Family was way up here on all three, giving everybody the equal chance. Yellow is the only one that kept it going in family. Congratulations, hats off. But the other two teams are positive. So you didn't lose. There are universes where we lose a lot of money because family is our real breadwinner, but some people don't invest in it. They don't produce enough. They market it. They see all this potential revenue like we had in image with red, but then they mismatch supply and demand, which you'll see in LOI. Still, hats off. All three teams turned it around. You lost more than you gained in blue and red, but all in all, look, red's in the positive through the entire final decision. Great job, red. Yellow coming a strong, strong second because of doing fantastic in both family and image. Keeping up those two franchises is very important. Now, here is the astonishing thing. Eco everybody's slaughtered to begin with, like where yellow still is, all three of these. Blue turned it around better than any other team. Fantastic. Good job in eco. It's an impossible line to do well in, and you are number one. Great job, Blue. Red, you stayed in the positive with that. It's a very hard line, but you remember you came back from way down here to way up here. Blue even came up more from way down here to way up here. So from here all the way across, everybody's a winner with a little gap, which is often seen by yellow and eco, and they could have spent their time trying to fix that. Instead, they spent their time and try to best and do well in image, and they knocked the cover off the ball, as did red, where image, which was moderately small for all three, like maybe across here of what you inherited. And you can look at the history of decision one, two, and three before you did four, which I'm looking at right now. I just made copies of these. And basically, the wibble wobble is that blue in decision one and decision blue slowly degenerated from one to two to three to four, and three was the gap in image. So in a row, blue got from way up here, went to dun to dun to dun to dun, and like that. So image absolutely killed blue, which it rarely does because image is friendly and forgiving. But you'll see in LOI if you build a lot of inventory and you don't make enough, or if you market the heck out of it, and then you don't have enough to cover that revenue and demand. If you look at the revenue in that line, I'm not going to jump to all these lines because it'll take too long. But in terms of the commentary, I will do snapshots so you can take pictures, but that's the overall story of what happened with all of them. And LOI will explain what happened, as it always does, very clearly for this fourth decision. And it's something you should look at for your fifth decision. But remember, watch that video that I'll link. Now I'm just going to jump through these without a lot of commentary so you can take snapshots of them. And then we can hop over to Halo for the rest of a snapshot of family. Pause the video if you want to take a snapshot of eco. And pause the video and take a snapshot of image if you wish. Okay, we have lost orders over inventory in low cost, and we can compare these again to what happened in the results and how come yellow came back so well in low cost. Look what happened. There's LOI with yellow. Everybody's got fantastic results in low cost. That's why we turned the whole thing around. Family, good trends, although, family, again, did not do as well as it should have for red because here's the buildup of inventory, but it still did. Everybody was above the line. And yellow, so a lot more in in family. Eco-friendly, which is always a disaster, but which actually everybody except yellow did really well. And you see what happened in with yellow there. The other two teams came very much closer to zero. So why is eco turned around for the other two and it became worse for yellow or not as well? And that's the answer. Finally,
Alexa,
image where the big story is blue. What happened? How did they die? Look, it doesn't take a financial genius, and we try to have a finance person in every team, at least one, who's got a background in finance. And this is what happened very clearly with blue. And you can
Alexa,
see it borne out in the charts where red did fantastic, yellow did really, really well, and blue dropped way, way down in image. Part of it is cash flow, but remember, cash and CapEx are reflected in LOI because it shows your supply and demand. What are you making? Why are you building inventory here? So when you're building inventory, it means you make them and you have. So how can Blue win this sim? It's impossible, right? No, it's not. With this much inventory, change a few little things on your image line. Don't go crazy with just maybe two cars because two cars affect all the rest of this backwards. I'm giving too much away, but if you watch that video, you'll see how to do it. In Professor Paul, our course lead, Paul Waterman, and myself, the video we did on before decision five. So now all that remains is jump through quickly, look at some of our white lines, which aren't really as important for the fifth decision because you're going to do what you're going to do, make small changes, but then adjust your inventory a tiny bit and stay the course. Don't overdo anything, but be very careful with your cash blue. That is, you want to win it, you still can. You don't have to pay off your loans, but don't blow your cash with on the CapEx side because remember in decision five, you're not going to have to worry about any more production. You've got enough in your inventory. If you have to produce more to sell more in decision five, which is a year period, do so, of course, if your inventory is down to zero. But if you got a lot of inventory loaded up like this, change a few items and broom this inventory. But don't jump into pricing wars at this late stage. Keep your as you have the whole sim. All three of you did fantastic for the industry. Here's red and low cost. Here's our leader in family. Here's our leader in eco-friendly. And here's our leader in image. Here's blue in low cost. Here's blue in family. Here's blue in eco-friendly. One we really care about now. And here's blue in image. Yellow in low cost. Yellow in family. They did great. And in our problem line, here's yellow and eco, which has got a lot more gaps. So we can see that eco is a problem with LOI with yellow as well as market line. And image where yellow did great. That's it. Thank you so much. It's been an awesome journey with every single one of you. I just love working with you on the sim. You've done fantastic record numbers, record closeness and tightness of the results. Usually someone gets a flywheel and runs way far ahead. Not this time. Red did great. I don't want to take away from them. Positive and all three of you turned around. You turned around selected lines. And the final last little wrinkle problems you have here, we've seen the theme of the trends of having to work all those gears together. You've learned like you never learned in any kind of a course because you actually just did it and saw it, which is how do those ratios of lost orders over inventory, how does CapEx, how do all those decisions tie together into a bigger picture? And leverage, there's a whole thing about finance here that we haven't spent a lot on. It's not a finance course, but using other people's money, accumulated returns, earnings, ROCE are really the machines and the flywheels that drive success. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for participating in the sim, and we will see you in Halo for decision number 5. I posted some things already. I'll be posting a lot more before decision 5, and I look forward to working with you in our last couple of weeks here. And remember, the last week is a team effort, and it, like everything, it's teamwork on your presentations, looking back and seeing what you did right and what you did wrong and being honest about it. Otherwise, fantastic. Congratulations. Thank you for working.